Hi, this is Sive Morten with the daily update on EuroFX. I post my exclusive market overviews with the key political and economical events, charts, and important levels on the ForexPeaceArmy.com forums weekly. This short video is a response to rapidly changing situation on the currency markets and should help you to stay on top of the game and be profitable. I suggest you to visit ForexPeaceArmy.com forum and read my analysis for the week before watching this daily video.
Greetings everybody. Let's take a look again on the Bitcoin market. So the first glance, it's not much to talk about as the price action stands gradual and wobble. On the intraday charts mostly stands in the same trading range. That is going on actually as we have suggested, because market have to inhabit with the new reality, new environment on the market, new price level. So from the technical point of view, as we said, all bad things that could happen is done. It's because all leveraged margin positions have been washed out in the recent drop. Mostly the newbie positions that have been taken on the rally close to the top of the market also was closed with a loss. And currently, market mostly is driving by those who have long-term positions and with the institutional capital, so the companies and hedge funds. So we also have prepared the fundamental report on the Bitcoin. I will give you the link on the thread on the forum. It shows you in details what has happened, what the results of this collapse, and how it is really dangerous for the market or not. So we're analyzing the important statistics, indicators of the price behavior, money flows during the collapse, and make the conclusion on the result, on the impact on the current trend, and what to expect in the nearest time. So I would suggest you that you read this report. It's really important and shows you the potential risk the market could meet in a medium-term, long-term perspective. Still, currently we think that bull trend in general stands intact on the Bitcoin. From the technical point of view, on the monthly chart, we see volatility breakout pattern, especially at Napoli, and the most part of it already stands in place. So the breakout, retracement after the breakout, and next stage should be extension. We expect that overall extension after the breakout will be not very fast because, this collapse put the shadow on the perspective and frightened institutional investors. That diminished the interest of the institutional companies to institutional capital to the cryptocurrencies. That it means that the overall demand for Bitcoin will be a bit weaker and recovery could be longer term and slower, but still it should happen. From the technical point of view, we think that the 20 even area will be crucial for a bullish context, just because a few reasons. First of all, this is major all-time 618 support 25 area. Second, this is previous top. So that's the level that market should stay above anyway to keep the bullish context valid. If somehow market returns back below the 20 even area, it returns back in the previous trending range from the 0 point to the 20,000. So that will be absolutely different reality. So if this will happen, the market returns back down, it means that for a long, considerable time, for years, market could stay in this range. It could fluctuate here for a very long-term period. But currently, based on the statistics, based on the supply-demand analysis on the market, we think that it's really very small chances that this will happen. Our central scenario suggests that market should start gradual, slow recovery up from here, but we will not see this type of action in the nearest time. So that's what we have on the monthly chart. On the weekly chart, another thing that is important, why we also treat the 20,024 area as a crucial, just because if market stands bullish, here we have another 618 support area slightly higher, 31 approximately, because it's based on the most recent thrusting action. It's important. This is actually where the thrust has started. We have passed through the double repo pattern that has already completed its target, creates an agreement with the major XOP on the weekly and 618 support. For any bullish market, this collapse and reaching of the strong level should be enough support to hold market from the further drop and to hold it above this area. We would not exclude that market could fluctuate around it for some time, but at the same time, we think that somewhere from this area should recovery start. As a potential target of the recovery, we think that the minimal destination point that we could count on is approximately 50 even area. This is 618 resistance of the whole collapse that we've got. But this will be not really fast, because currently, as you can see, in the nearest time, we're not considering levels above the 45. It's daily overbought. And also, as we said, market have to go and have it at the current level. Usually, when collapses happen, market spends some time in the range of this new range this market has hit in some long-tailed candle, as we have here. So we expect some fluctuation right here. At the same time, we are keeping an eye on the few patterns that might trigger the upward recovery. On the daily chart, so I would not need the overbought area anymore. On the daily chart, I would consider the possible double repo buy pattern. It really could happen because with this upward bounce, market hasn't quite reached. Sorry, I will remove this by far. So on the daily chart, market hasn't quite reached with this pullback the 30% resistance. So it is important level, important condition for a double repo pattern. Otherwise, we will get the bread and butter sell. But with this pullback, market hasn't reached yet the 30% level. At the same time, we have close above the 3x3 currently. So it means that theoretically, we can't exclude another downward deep retracement back to the lows, somewhere to the 30, 32. I'm not also exclude the chance that we could get even the butterfly here. So, for instance, something of that sort might happen. That is very often happens when the double repo pattern is forming. So we could get some another top lower, create the new low somewhere to 26 maybe even, to form the butterfly. That will be second bottom of the double repo, and then market could reestablish upward action. That's potential patterns that we could consider. So it might be the double repo, either with the same lows as already has been formed, or even market could form the butterfly. This mostly will be the same pattern, but it will be just different shape of the bottoms. And this double repo could theoretically trigger the upward continuation. That's the scenario that could be realized on daily chart. On the intraday charts, here you can see in general stands the triangle that keeps door open for both directions. That's why I also not exclude the butterfly that I have shown you on the daily chart. This is, you can see market hasn't reached the 30% level that I'm talking about. Another scenario stands to the upside, and it also suggests deep retracement, but not as deep as was the butterfly or double repo. By the way, this also could be the double repo, but this will be just not as deep drop on the second close below the 3x3. So it could be something of that sort. As this head and shoulders pattern, this might be formed here. If we exclude some spikes here, it's not strictly talking head and shoulders, because you can see these lows almost even below than the head. But I'm mostly watching on the background of the price action, on market mechanics. So by later, it may be not at the head and shoulders, but by the inner context, it is head and shoulders. It might be head and shoulders. So market will return back somewhere to the 42. Then we could get this deep retracement around to 35. That potentially could become the point where we establish upward action. So that's approximately what we are keeping an eye on currently. So market stands in the fluctuations currently. You can see choppy action, very gradual. So it means that market has no direction by far. This is just the time to analyze the market, to understand what has happened, and to prepare the new trading plan for the future. What currently actually investors are doing. So market needs time. That explains this choppy and retracement type of action right now. But for starting of the upward action, market has to form the pattern. And we have specified the 3 different patterns that potentially could be formed that we will intend to keep an eye on that could trigger the upward action. So in general, as we said, this is period for accumulation. For a long term, we suggest that your stops or some protection, maybe put options, should stay below 20 even area. 24 area is our invalidation point for a current setup. For a shorter term perspective, if you intend to go long, I would suggest that your protection initially should include the potential butterfly pattern that might be formed. Chances are not really big that market will drop again to the 2650, 26 area, but still we can't exclude it totally because butterfly is reversal pattern, overall bearish momentum here is very strong, and we can't exclude some rest of this momentum that could try to break and push price through the lows. I'm not sure this will be successful, and that is perfect background for appearing of the butterfly. I'm just warning you that this really might be formed. So that's our view on the Bitcoin market.